Okay, so I'm doing a little bit of an experiment in the kitchen today. I grew up in Florida, and I find that southern food like fried chicken and biscuits and gravy is really comforting and just delicious. But the only problem is it's so calorie dense, and I kind of wanted to do a southern style fried chicken biscuit for breakfast, but with a much better macronutrient split. So higher on the protein, maybe less in the fat a little bit. So I've been experimenting with a Greek yogurt based dough. It might make a pretty good biscuit. And then if we air fry the chicken, that'll be much better for the fat content versus a deep fried chicken. I have high hopes for it. I'm also going to do like a spicy honey to go with it. So I'm excited. Let's go. So to get started, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 425 degrees and put either parchment paper or a silicone baking mat on your baking sheet. For the biscuit dough, you'll need all-purpose flour, Greek yogurt, baking powder, and some salt. In a mixing bowl, combine 1 cup of flour, or 120 grams, with 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a pinch of salt. Whisk to combine. To the dry ingredients, we'll want to add 1 cup of Greek yogurt, which is about 234 grams. This is optional, but I also added onion powder and garlic powder to my mixture just for some more flavor. Start incorporating the flour into the Greek yogurt. I'm using a rubber spatula here, but as soon as the dry pockets start to disappear and the mixture becomes more cohesive, you'll actually be switching over to just kneading this right in the bowl with your hands. Try not to overwork the dough. We really just want to make sure that all of the Greek yogurt and flour are thoroughly combined. And there's no need to roll out this dough to cut out into biscuits later, which is really nice. All I'm doing is weighing out the total and dividing it in equal portions. This makes 4 biscuits, so mine ended up being about 90 grams per serving. I rolled each of my 90-gram portions loosely into these balls and placed them onto my baking sheet. These are going to bake at 425 degrees for about 12 minutes. Halfway through, at 6 minutes, I did rotate my sheet tray. While the biscuits are baking in the oven, we can start prepping our chicken, and we'll be breading it using a seasoned panko. I cut my chicken pieces into 100-gram portions. I always weigh my proteins by their raw weight. I just find that it's the most accurate way for me to track my calories and macronutrients consistently. So these 100-gram portions, I'm just seasoning on both sides with salt and pepper. So anytime I'm doing a breaded chicken or breaded fish, anything that has panko or breadcrumbs, I do weigh it out at the beginning. And after I'm finished breading all of my protein, I will weigh what's left over at the end. This way I'm only counting what actually made it onto the chicken. And so for the panko, it is starting out at 44 grams, but afterwards I found I only used about 12 grams of that. So for this recipe, it was only about 6 grams of panko for each piece of chicken. The leftover panko did not go to waste. I did use it for some other chicken for dinner later on that night, but I'm just seasoning it up with salt, pepper, and a generous amount of cayenne because I do want this to be a spicy chicken biscuit. So instead of using an egg wash for my breading, what I like to do is actually just use hot sauce. It doesn't make it that much spicier, but it does let the panko adhere pretty well, and it's also almost 0 calories, which is always nice. So I'm just using Frank's Red here, which is one of my favorite sauces, but you can use what you have on hand, or if you really don't want any sort of spice, you can always use a whipped egg white. We just want to toss the chicken around in the hot sauce to make sure that it is thoroughly covered, and we can start breading. So placing it right into our seasoned panko and pressing firmly to make sure that it is well coated. So the chicken can hang out for just a few minutes because our biscuits are ready to come out of the oven. So I did end up broiling these for about 1 minute on high just to get some additional color on the tops, but they turned out looking pretty good. They puffed up nicely. And if you were to tear into one of these right now, it would look super underdone. It does need to rest for a few minutes, which actually gives us the perfect amount of time to get our chicken into the air fryer. So the air fryer has been preheating for a few minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or about 200 degrees Celsius. I just spritzed a little non-stick spray in the basket and placed our breaded panko chicken right in. This also took about 12 minutes. At the 6-minute mark, I did flip and spritz one more time. So the spicy honey is what really makes this sandwich. You just have to combine honey with red pepper flake. This does add carbs to the dish, of course, so you can omit it if you want, but I highly recommend you don't skip out on it. It was probably the best part of the sandwich. Okay, our chicken is ready to come out of the air fryer. So all of our ingredients are ready to go. It's time to assemble our sandwiches. So just cutting one of these biscuits in half. I was really pleasantly surprised with the texture. It came out really nice and tender. You just need to place one of our panko breaded chicken pieces on your bottom biscuit and put a generous amount of our spicy honey. So for the nutritional information that I'll be posting and the macronutrient split, I calculated this for about 1 tablespoon of spicy honey. And we top it with the second half of the biscuit, and look how beautiful she is. Here it is in all of its glory. I'm so excited to try it. Okay, here we go. It's so good. Wow. I can't believe how well this turned out. I'm so excited. I'll put the macros up for you, but it doesn't taste like I really gave up much on flavor. It's spicy, it's sweet. The biscuit texture is actually really nice. So macro friendly, spicy chicken biscuit.